Ah,
There we
allergies
go.
have come to town.
And then I can. How do I open the video in another tab?
I got the notification.
I guess the chat's right
Yeah, I
there,
got the
too.
notification for a first time in a while. I just been like hovering over Patreon continuously, refreshing it in hopes that that'd come up, because I've never been getting the notifications on my phone lately.
So I'm completely out of the loop. Are movies even like coming out right now?
Yeah, just digitally.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just got Hulu. There's actually a lot of good stuff on it.
I guess
sort of.
chat's
A lot of the stuff I watch on there kind of gets old over time.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch Homeland, and that got old. But
I don't really watch TV as much as I used to. I'm just more of a fan of movies.
I've been catching up on a whole bunch of stuff.
Hulu is just where I go if I can't find it on Netflix.
I after bringing up Sunshine, I also did watch Pandorum after.
Oh yeah. What'd you think?
That movie had a lot of potential, but it was kind of dumb in the end.
I mean, it is kind of dumb, but I still think it's pretty. I don't know. I think it's a little underrated.
It's all right.
Are you talking about?
We're talking about Pandorum.
Sunshine?
No, Pandorum. Yeah.
And the other Sunshine, we were talking about the Danny Boyle movie.
I thought.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about like the movie Little Miss Sunshine with Steve Carell.
No.
I think.
No, we're talking about the science fiction one.
Different. All right.
One that probably inspired Dead Space as well. Like, there's a lot of.
Oh yeah.
I definitely recommend getting.
I think it's one of the things that inspired Dead Space next to Event Horizon and System Shock.
Oh yeah, I saw Event Horizon pretty recently. Have any of you guys seen it?
I saw it a while back.
I don't care much to see it.
It's not great. I don't think.
I didn't like those. I like sci-fi movies that know what they're trying to do rather than sci-fi movies trying to be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It got pretty dumb at the end, but you know, I thought it was kind of a guilty pleasure overall because it was kind of interesting. My dad really liked it, and he was the one who kept saying I should see it, so we watched it together on Netflix.
I don't know.
It's definitely a guilty pleasure for me. I've watched it like 5 times recently.
I was just kind of annoyed by it.
I just like it. I don't know, for whatever reason.
I don't like sci-fi that doesn't try to be reasonable. I think
it's easy. I think it's easy to mess up sci-fi, but I think it's also better the more it takes it less seriously. I think.
Yeah.
But there are like serious sci-fi films I think are also really good. But I recently watched District 9, and there was a lot of things that I thought made no sense.
Oh yeah, there's tons in that movie that doesn't make any sense.
It's kind of funny though, because District 9 was one of those movies where it's like, oh, this is terrible. This is not a good movie. The first year it came out.
Really,
yeah, but everybody loves it. It has like great ratings on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff.
It was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, I don't know many people that thought it was terrible.
I think it's a good movie. It's just I don't like how it like switches from mockumentary to fiction to mockumentary to this and that. I don't know.
Yeah, it did feel very inconsistent. Where like, oh, there's a camera crew this whole time, and then like, is the camera crew sticking with him throughout the main events?
No, then it just goes into not mockumentary.
Yeah,
then it just goes into like standard narrative.
I would like to imagine there's a camera crew just like harboring a fugitive.
It kind of felt like it didn't know what kind of movie it wanted to be sometimes, but I still give it a lot of credit for a movie that has a budget of $30 million and still looks pretty great.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a pretty low budget for a sci-fi movie with like CGI aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, when you have like the creators of the film that are like well versed in visual effects, then you get things like that. You're able to do visual effects for a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of great sci-fi films are actually very low budget, like Shane Carruth's films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
know.
Oh man, what was the word?
Yeah. I saw some low budget sci-fi movie named Moon back a while back. I think you put that on one of your lists. Thought that was kind of interesting. Thought it was a bit tonally inconsistent at times, Like sometimes it's trying to be psychological horror, and other times it's trying to be drama, and I wasn't sure what it was trying to be.
I thought I didn't think it was like any kind of like weird conflicting tones or anything. I didn't find that. I thought that movie was pretty consistent. It was kind of like a suspense, like mystery thriller in space thing.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to watch it again.
Oh yeah.
Back.
All right, guys. Do you remember what the first room in Pandorum was? Like the main room that they're in.
I haven't seen it.
Oh.
Yes.
Because I saw this as a prop.
Oh, nice. The Star Trek thing or whatever?
No. It's
what is it?
It's a flight stick. Throttle. So,
oh, that's funny.
But it seemed like it was in a room that had no relations to flight. It was just there.
Yeah, I mean, like Pandorum was. I liked the tone it was going for.
Oh. Yeah.
I loved the ending without spoiling anything. I loved like the reveals in the story. I did not care much for what's his face bad actor man, Dennis Quaid. Did not care much for him. But I thought Ben Foster was like really great, and I love him.
Yeah, he did a good job. I bet that's kind of where they got like Isaac's characters and details.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Because the more I watched it, like the more I saw Isaac Clarke's character being, like, rooted from that character.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend it?
Maybe.
Pandora?
I think it's pretty decent. It's one of those things where it's like you're stuck at home right now. I would just watch it. I might watch it again. Who knows now that I'm thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend getting a subscription to the Criterion channel because there's a lot of great stuff on it, and I've been watching it nonstop since.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
Well, in the meantime, I've been grinding the hell out of Elite, so
yeah,
I want to go back to work.
Yeah, I find it kind of funny that in like the Criterion Collection, the only Paul Thomas Anderson film that's made it there is Punch-Drunk Love, not There Will Be Blood or Magnolia.
I think that's because they're more accessible.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, but the Criterion Collection has done some really long movies.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
But Punch-Drunk Love is a great movie, though. I think.
Oh yeah. I really want to see it. I loved seeing Adam Sandler in a dramatic role in Uncut Gems. That was great.
I mean, I think Paul Thomas Anderson's best film is The Master, but I can understand why they wouldn't get that.
Yeah, I should watch that.
Yeah, the thing is with Criterion is like you kind of just want it to have like every good movie, but there's always like rights issues, It's like I just want to see a Criterion release for everything that I love, but some good movies are more popular than other good movies, so.
Like pretty much everything Wes Anderson does goes Criterion.
Yeah. Yeah, the only Wes Anderson movie they don't have is Isle of Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably that though.
Yet.
Yeah.
They could do like a big Wes Anderson box set at this point.
Yeah.
I get it.
I think they're just worried because, like, they're worried that another film of his will come out and they won't have it in the box set and stuff.
Wait until he dies. I don't know.
Did any of you watch Bottle Rocket, the first movie of
a while ago? Yeah. It was.
I would get that.
It was decent. I'd like to watch it again because I was a bit younger when I watched it. So I don't know. I remember enjoying it. I don't remember feeling negatively about it or anything.
Yeah, I saw a clip of it online. It looked kind of funny, I guess.
I watched the short film that was like kind of the prequel to it, and I didn't think it was that great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one with
Mr. Fox was actually my first Criterion.
Oh, nice. It's a good Criterion.
My first I think it was like Seventh Seal or something.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah. I haven't seen much Ingmar Bergman stuff, so I might like to. I mean, one of his movies that's been kind of interesting to me is Fanny and Alexander.
Yeah, I want to see that one.
Really long.
Very good.
Yeah, that's a fantastic film.
I've tried to show my friend Persona, but then he made me turn it off because he just hated watching it. Because I remember that.
Funny Alexander.
What, was it too creepy for him or something?
No, I guess it's just like, I don't want to sound pretentious, but I guess he's just not as much of a cinephile as I am.
It's a bit of a like, not only slower but like kind of like interpretable movie from what I remember. Like I haven't seen that in a while. So
for some reason I thought you meant Persona, the video game series.
Yeah, Persona 4.
Hello.
I am not very well versed in film, but I do love good movies when I come across them. So
I can't stop playing.
I remember trying to watch. What movie was it? I think it was like Swiss Army Man or something.
Oh, that movie was so dumb.
This guy I don't want to call him a friend because I haven't seen him since then, but he decided he didn't like it and went over and started watching Smosh on my computer. And I was like, okay, clearly you don't have very good taste, so I will keep trying.
We're no longer friends since you put a Smosh in my recommended feed.
Yeah.
I almost never like walk out of a movie. Like the only time I walked out of something was actually like last night. My mom had on some movie called Ghost of Girlfriend's Past with like Matthew McConaughey. Just looks terrible, and I didn't.
That sounds
watch
promising.
The rest of it.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, Ghost of Girlfriend's Past with Matthew McConaughey.
Awesome.
I'm looking this up.
I forgot every single second of it.
Yeah, the last Matthew McConaughey movie I saw was Failure to Launch with Sarah Jessica Parker. That was just terrible. So I didn't want to sit through another terrible Matthew McConaughey movie, so I just left the room.
Ghost of Girlfriend's Past looks hilarious just based on the poster and the Metascore.
Yeah,
usually the like 30 range, if a Metascore is like in the 30 range, that usually means it's pretty funny. I find.
Yeah,
that's like a good sweet spot.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, I remember that film being marketed as like one of those really cheesy rom-coms from like the late 2000s that was just kind of everywhere. But I do remember it distinctly though.
What struck me the most about it that it wasn't even shot like a rom-com. It had like this really ugly color palette that looked like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, my parents said maybe he was trying to go for an elegant style, but it just didn't work because I just that's not what it was.
I love
it. Really confusing.
That sounds funny.
Frailty.
Called what? Frailty.
Frailty.
It sounds familiar. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I saw it. It was strange. I don't think I liked it, but it was really weird. Had a lot of plot twists that didn't really make
kind
sense.
Of random. This is kind of random, but did anyone see The Nightingale by Jennifer Kent?
Yes.
Yes, I saw it in theaters a while back.
Was it good?
Yeah, like got pretty bad good ratings.
It was better than The Babadook.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Well,
I've heard many mixed things about it. I was curious about it.
I didn't have time to make a review on it when I watched it. I was working on other things, but like from memory, I remember it being like a very like surprisingly mature presentation, and like it was really a step up, and I liked the style. But like there were some things that were keeping me from like really loving it. There were like some performances were a little iffy. There were some people whose accents were constantly changing throughout the movie, and it was certainly really ambitious. It was like definitely like really, really ambitious in terms of like what it was trying to do. I just don't think that every single element came together super well. And at points, it also felt like it was trying to be like kind of edgy, which is weird. It was like,
I've seen people be turned off because of how edgy it tried to be, especially like I guess towards the end.
Yeah, it was really
supposed to have some
didn't have as
really
much substance as I wanted.
scenes.
Yeah,
I mean, like how was it trying to be edgy?
In the same way, but not as extreme as like Serbian film would try to be edgy. Just like showing you something like, but not as extreme, but like almost in the same vein, pretty much.
Where it just felt edgy for the sake of being edgy.
Where it was. Yeah, I don't know. Where it's like I don't know. She can get away with it.
I know people who say that this. I know a friend of mine said that's his favorite movie of 2019. And then I know people who absolutely love it, but then I also know some people who absolutely hate it. And all I really know about it, that's like it's like they keep saying like it's the most violent movie ever made. That's all I know.
Gael and
I don't agree with that.
Gael and I saw Bad Trip last night, the new Eric Andre thing.
Good?
It was actually surprisingly funny. I actually enjoyed it a lot.
I'm excited.
Yeah, didn't it have the same people as the Eric Andre show?
The director was the same, a director that directed many episodes of the Eric Andre show, and Eric Andre's in it, but the rest of the cast is not the same.
We were mentioning how he got someone to co-star with him who looks like Hannibal Buress, which is kind of weird, but it's not.
Yeah, we were thinking maybe they wanted him, but he was busy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It was good. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
So is Bad Trip anything like the Eric Andre show? Or
in terms, it has Eric Andre in it, and he's pulling pranks on people, and his scream is still that iconic scream.
Isn't the movie set within real world reactions and also like a different story that was written?
Yeah, so basically it's in the same vein as like Borat, Bruno, and Bad Grandpa. It's much better than Bad Grandpa, not as good as Borat and Bruno. And what really separates each of those is Bad Trip is a movie where it knew what it was, and it didn't bullshit, and it didn't waste time. Like every single scene, with some very, very minor exceptions, like every single scene that existed was like an opportunity to get a reaction from someone in the real world. People. Like when they were advancing the plot, it was within prank scenarios. There were like character flashbacks where they had pranks, basically. Like there was like a flashback sequence, awesome. And that was also a prank scene. And so it really didn't fuck around. It didn't waste time, and that's what I really appreciated about it. It's not nearly as much of like an intelligent satire as like Borat and Bruno, but it still knows what it is, and it doesn't like it's really funny. It's a funny movie, and it doesn't waste time.
Yeah, I was impressed with the structure of the script. It felt like it almost felt like they wrote the whole film beforehand, and then they just had kind of like how you do. I'm not sure if you write a D&D campaign, it's the same thing. You kind of write the story, and then you kind of have these little scenarios where characters can interact with other characters where you don't know how it's going to pan out, but we have a rough idea of how it might play out. It was really cool to see that, because you had these scenes where these characters were having heartfelt moments, or conversations that were scripted but were unusual, and you had other people reacting to it, and it was really fun to see. And some of the characters are also really fun to watch. I was mentioning how I liked Tiffany Haddish in this film, even though I don't really know what else she's been in.
Apparently I've never liked her before, but in this movie, she actually took it seriously, and she did a really great job.
I thought she was well cast. I thought she was well cast for the role, but she was very, very enjoyable.
Yeah, I personally find her very aggravating, but that's just
she worked really well for this movie. And she took it seriously, and she didn't that's what I appreciated the most about it, is you can tell she's despite having this kind of annoying persona in many of the bad movies she's in, she's actually serious about what she's doing, and that's really respectable.
Yeah, you guys were just sort of talking about movies sound really violent, like the Nightingale. I want to ask you, have any of you guys ever seen The Passion of the Christ? My mom had me watch it on Easter Sunday.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Very long time
ago.
I've
never seen it, but for some reason my local church was selling that on DVD in their gift shop, which is pretty funny.
It's the R-rated film that all Christian households show their children. It's the one exception to the don't show your kids R-rated movies.
Because they just want to force, Jesus' suffering onto their children.
I don't know. I mean,
I remember.
I come from a Christian household, and we did watch Passion of the Christ, and then Jesus of Nazareth.
It's the R-rated exception.
I would watch Jesus of Nazareth over it, because I was so done with the bullshit. And
what about Prince of Egypt?
Prince of Egypt is wonderful.
Yeah. Last Temptation of Christ is a pretty fantastic Martin Scorsese film.
I really want to see that. 33 AD.
Yeah.
We recently saw that.
That
was that.
Very good.
It was so funny.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I might make a video on it.
Wait,
we'll
what film?
Assassin 33 AD. You should look up a trailer.
I watched that. Yeah, I watched that last night because I saw that you rated it like a 1 out of 10, and I saw it. I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And then I saw that they had this fucking contestant from American Idol from like 2008 play Jesus. I'm like,
I had no idea.
And I'm like, wow, that is the most random casting choice ever. And
did he say
like his IMDb page or the profile picture for it looked hilarious. So.
No, Assassin 33 AD, is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it something that when it gets like a physical release, maybe like commentary worthy, or?
I don't know, because like there were parts where I was like debating, like, would this be good for a commentary? It's like kind of like you can do it without a physical release anyway. Like it's on iTunes, right? And we've done iTunes versions of movies before. But I don't know, like a lot of it was just kind of sure, there was commentary to be found, but a lot of it was just kind of watching the movie and seeing how crazy it was. So I don't know if that would be like a great commentary movie, because there's so like it's another thing where it's like the plot is so nonsense that like you kind of need to have the context for everything that's happening, and it would be a kind of a difficult edit.
Yeah, some people have like said it was sort of Islamophobic and
of course it was
racist.
pretty
the way it portrayed
so good. It was so good.
Yeah, I think the film was pretty much like ISIS going back in time and trying to assassinate.
No,
Jesus.
it was
That's pretty much what it was.
It was the world's most famous refugee in the film. It's like
his name was Ahmed Akbar.
Yeah.
That's how they said it in the film.
That was his name?
Yeah, Ahmed Akbar.
Oh my God, Akbar! What a cliche Middle Eastern name to use in an American production. Jesus Christ!
Doesn't Akbar literally great?
It means bigger technically, because it's like it's a comparative word. It's like greater or bigger, but you can use it in the context of, Allahu Akbar, which is to say God is great. Technically, literally, it translates to God is greater or bigger, but it's been translated kind of more accurately as God is, or more kind of traditionally as God is great. That's what people know it as, which is fine. But it's not a common last name in Arabic. There were a lot of very uncommon names that they used, so it was great. But he said things like, "I never imagined in my wildest dreams that you would create time travel." Just like that. I could do it. I'm Arab. I can do the accent. It's not racist.
The accent at many points in the film, the accent sounded like a Spanish accent too.
Yeah, it sounded like a Bond villain. Like he sounded a lot like a Bond villain sometimes. Like,
he sounded like
join us, Mr. Bond.
What's that famous guy that played Pedro Almodovar in his newest movie? What's his
Antonio
name?
Banderas?
Yeah, it sounded like Antonio Banderas at points.
Yeah, a little bit.
Jesus.
A little bit.
And he looks like Cenk Uygur, and that was
he did look like Cenk Uygur.
Half of the shots he looked exactly like Cenk Uygur.
That was weird.
Did not think about that until now.
It was great.
That is perhaps the most.
Maybe they should have gotten
plot
to play the villain. I don't know. That would have.
There is funny. A more absurd plot. I don't know if we should mention it, but you were telling me about how that might be commentary worthy. The Australian film.
Oh yeah, Tabernacle 101. That was a fucking hilarious movie, and I would love to show Scott that anyway. So
yeah, we could do a commentary on that one.
Oh, speaking of hilarious. So remember how I was saying Raw Danger had another game coming out?
Yeah.
Disaster Report 4. Disaster Report. Anyway, I played it, and I think it'd be worth your time.
Okay. So the new one's already out.
Yep, it's on Steam. It's on
Since
Switch.
when?
You choose whatever. April 18th? No.
Today.
What's it called?
Not 18th. I'm thinking of today. It's
so it's on Steam.
Yeah, it's on Steam too.
Shit.
Disaster what?
Disaster Report.
Disaster.
All right, Gael, are you interested in?
Is it a Raw Danger sequel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I understand.
It's not going to have any returning characters, but it is. From
like
the same
I remember
writer.
any of the characters from that game.
I see Disaster Report for Summer Memories.
We could try it out.
Yeah, if you're free on Sunday, we can do that.
Yeah,
that's tomorrow.
Is
yeah.
Disaster Report
Sure,
like
yeah,
the overarching
I have anything.
name for Raw Danger's series, or?
Well, it's actually called the Disaster Report series, but Raw Danger on its own was
that's what
the
I
Desperate
thought.
City 4 or 2.
VR, it says.
It's got some pretty good choices.
I'm just gonna open up the Steam's page for this right now.
It's only 7 hours long though, which is unfortunate, but
reviews are very positive.
Yeah.
You said it came out this year?
Like
yes, it did.
A few days ago, I guess.
So this is how it happened. So development happened like way back when, and it ceased in 2011 because of the tsunami in Japan.
Right.
But now, I forgot what his name is. The guy who made it, he just decided to make his own company, bought the rights from IREM, and it's oh my gosh, like the guy needs to make more of these. This is fun. Like if it's not funny, it's still very fun to play, and it got a lot to explore, and yeah. The one thing I will say is like it does require a lot of like exploration, but it doesn't like drag the game down because there's a lot to look at. So
okay,
sounds like fun.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say Game of the Year, Imaginary Fanboy. That's definitely not Game of the Year material. So far, I'm leaving that up to Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
I heard that was good.
I'm very excited to play that.
Oh, very good. So,
yeah.
And maybe Animal Crossing, because maybe Animal Crossing too, because that earthquake was having me on edge, and it was nice having.
Man, I was like,
Switch, I haven't played it.
I thought that I was gonna play through all of Doom, but like so far the past 2 Sundays and now I guess this Sunday there's other priorities. It's like Half-Life Alyx, Resident Evil 3, and now Disaster Report. It's like I just gotta keep pushing back Doom, I guess.
No, I mean, if like the way I like do my streams is usually I will like play games, and however I feel they last is is the point where I draw the line, because I'll play like I don't know The Long Dark, and as soon as I kind of reach a nice ending point, I'll move on. This won't be a recommendation, but also Receiver 2, also good.
I don't know what that is.
So it's basically a gun simulator.
Oh.
The hell?
So okay. I'm gonna have to go into a long explanation of what it is. So you started out in this world with a gun. First thing you need to do, check the chamber, see if there's a bullet in there, eject the clip, insert ammo into the clip manually.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
obvious.
think I heard about this.
It's not VR.
Oh.
It's all done on your
I heard
keyboard.
about this.
Is it like a surgeon simulator kind of thing?
No. You'll have to look at videos, because the way it's done is, if I can remember correctly, E to eject clip, Z to insert bullets, but you have to holster the gun first to insert ammo. But if you forget to put the safety on and eject the ammo that's currently in the receiver, it will shoot you in the leg.
Oh.
That's funny.
And if there's more ammo in it, you'll kill yourself on accident. It scares me every time.
I was sad when I found out I couldn't shoot myself in the face in Half-Life Alyx.
You can blind yourself with the fucking laser sight.
What's funny is I do always go for that first in any VR game. Is I'll like, if I have a gun, I will turn it on myself just to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, super hot. You have to like continue the game by shooting yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was fun.
I remember in accounting.
It took me a while to figure it out, actually.
I remember in accounting in the game, there's that revolver in the desk. For some reason dug my skull into the desk, and I saw the gun, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Man, accounting was so much fun, and then Trover Saves the Universe was just such shit. It was so bad.
It really? Oh shit. Well, that's on my wish list. I didn't play it. About.
It was just so annoying.
wasn't.
Yeah, Adam, do you watch Rick and Morty? I think that's supposed to be sort of like that, based off of.
I mean, I've watched the first 3 seasons of Rick and Morty, and then maybe the first 2 episodes of the season 4, and then just like kind of
I'm not
got
gonna
bored.
say any of you are among those parts of the fan base, but the toxic fan base killed Rick and Morty for me. So
I don't empathize with that. I find like it doesn't matter how shitty a fan base is for something; it doesn't affect my enjoyment of the
I agree
product.
with that.
Yeah.
But
good.
Just they ruined jokes for me. Like,
I couldn't like anything if that was the case.
Like the Pickle Rick thing, I don't find that.
No, well,
funny at all.
The point is it's not funny, I think.
Yeah, anyway. I still don't like it because it's like it was never like that implies that it was like funny to begin with almost, or like
exactly.
And like it's something that I've said this before, but like I enjoy ironic callbacks to things that were popular for no reason, like "Damn Daniel" or like "Dabbing" or like "My Name Jeff," right? Like those are all like fun to make fun of at this point. The Pickle Rick thing, like that exists within a specific like you have to know what Rick and Morty is for like that to even make sense. And like sure, most people do, but like it's not as fun to make fun of ironically because it's not really all that out of place from any other joke that they've made in the series. Really, it's not like that far out where it's like so ironic to make fun of. It's just
absurd.
Right.
What it's supposed to be.
That's why the first time I saw like the Pickle Rick thing, I think it was just like a trailer for season 3. I laughed at it, and I had no idea at that point what it would become, and it's like insane what happened with that, and it's really not that funny, but like I laughed at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I saw
Morty's.
It's chuckle-worthy.
I saw the thing, and that's all it got out of me was just a chuckle.
And only the first time,
I feel like it's better as like
it was on brand,
short kind of thing.
It was on brand. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think one thing that did make me laugh, however, like the hardest in Rick and Morty was perhaps the
there are a lot of good. There's a lot of good jokes Rick and Morty that made me laugh.
I agree.
It was the Adolf Linkler or whatever his name is.
Adolf Linkler, I remember that.
Yeah.
Ebert Linkler.
I will emancipate you from your impure genes.
I think it's good, but I think that the meme is like kind of uncalled for. I agree with that.
But it doesn't make any sense.
Somebody just said, Imaginary Fanboy did just say like, Bojack is a better drama, and I do have to agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just not really I'm just more of a fan of movies because I guess more of my mind span, but I don't know. But there are a lot of shows that I absolutely adore, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Bojack.
I feel like Rick and Morty kind of like turned into the same way I feel about like Adventure Time. Is like started out really strong and provided something that was like so unique and new and just like, wow, I like this. But then it's just like, okay, now you're just kind of stale. Like you're doing the same thing forever now, and there's no, as the series progresses, it's not like better than anything in season 1 or 2. It's just like I'm kind of just losing interest.
And the funny thing is about Bojack Horseman is that a lot of people think season 1 is the weakest season, and
I love season 1, honestly.
Thinks like
I like the first 3
I liked half of season 1. The first couple of episodes started out really weak, but it got off strong.
I liked the pilot. I thought it was strong I think it was a good lead for what the show is turning into, and I think that there are definitely some stellar episodes in season 1, like Downer Ending, for example. But I think it definitely does become.
But like Telescope was a really good episode.
Yeah, but then compare it to like season 5 and 6, which I think are probably the best seasons in the show.
That's a very rare thing, I gotta say. A show actually ending very well like that.
Second to last episode of Bojack Horseman is probably gave me a panic attack, honestly.
In theory, I'm sorry.
I mean, we should not get into a religious debate, of course, or anything like that, but it definitely does like put those kind of things into perspective. And I am Christian myself, and I do believe there's something for me. But...
Has anyone seen the new Adult Swim pilot, Smiling Friends? That came out like a week ago.
Yeah.
Psychic Pebbles and Michael Cusack, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
is
and
Adult
Mike
Swim still
Costa's
absurd?
in it too.
Oh yeah.
And like
Plinkett.
Yeah, it's really funny.
It was pretty funny.
Like
It's like somewhat promising. I could see it myself enjoying it if it develops on what it is. Like it's just a pilot, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
I do.
I'm excited. I really enjoyed it.
I've always wanted to see Mike Stacklasa in some kind of a professional environment like that.
He's in some episodes of like a YouTube like kids cartoon show. I think I don't remember what it's called.
I'm not sure, but I don't know.
Has anybody seen Swallow yet?
Oh yeah.
What's that?
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm kind of like
it's some like
I'm mildly
bizarre
looking
horror
forward to it.
movie type thing. I mean, I saw the trailer. From a visual perspective, it looks nice, I guess.
Movie or TV show?
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
And it's like supposed to be kind of like a disturbing. I don't know if it labels itself as a horror movie or not, but like it's about a girl with like
psychological horror.
Yeah, it's about a girl with like a compulsive disorder where she just like wants to eat inanimate objects and shit. She's like eating glass and stuff.
So wait, it's basically a movie about someone who has pica.
Whatever, yeah. I don't know the official term.
It's pica. Pica is the addiction of eating.
Yeah, okay. It
objects,
says a young housewife with seemingly perfect marriage develops pica. Okay. I'm interested in that now too, though.
Yeah.
I've heard good things.
I will admit, it does sound interesting. So.
Is that psychological thriller?
Yeah.
Psychological.
The trailer looks a little disturbing, so.
Horror
could be
drama.
good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I just watched. This is a random, but I just watched.
I can't hear you, Gael. I don't know if your mic's muted.
Oh yeah, sorry, I muted my mic. I was saying it definitely is good fodder for that like quote unquote disturbing type film. Like that's the kind of concept that's kind of premise you would start with if you want to film things like people eating glass and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That it does sound disgusting, but I'd totally give it a watch. I just hate anything. When it comes to shock movies, I hate anything that has to do with like pulling teeth or the tongue getting.
I like getting a reaction out of anything. I like squeamish stuff. It's fun.
I don't know.
Oldboy do that?
Yeah, Oldboy had
Oldboy, you could argue.
I can't watch anything like that. I have to close my eyes because I hate the idea of someone like fiddling around with my teeth.
Well, I will say the tooth torture scene in Oldboy always makes me cringe a little.
That's what makes that scene in Oldboy so effective.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like Martyrs was.
Yeah.
So you get out of Saw.
Man,
was interesting.
I just want them to release Spiral from the Book of Saw on digital. If they can release Bad Trip on Amazon Prime, they can do it with Saw.
Oh yeah, wasn't that film supposed to be part of a South by Southwest originally?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that I saw that film in the lineup.
When was Spiral supposed to come out?
Like May or June or something.
Yeah, that's pretty
cool. Yeah, but they postponed it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the new Saw like spin-off or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, aren't they moving it back to like October or something?
I don't know what they're planning. I don't know. I think everybody's like pretty optimistic to like have any large gathering this year.
If it's Halloween, it's Saw.
Yeah.
If it's summer.
Samuel Jackson's in it.
I'm really
shitty summer blockbuster movie day.
I'm really only hyped for the French Dispatch, and that's it. And probably Dune.
Yeah. I'm hyped for
really
Dune.
Excited for Dune.
They haven't released the trailer yet.
Who's directing it?
Villeneuve.
I love Villeneuve. He's my favorite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
However you pronounce that.
Veal, like baby cow, and then Neuve, like French 9.
What was that one really bad pronunciation at the Oscars? Like somebody completely fucked it up. I don't remember what it was.
You could always go Villeneuve.
Yeah, Lights,
one.
Camera, Jackson. Dennis Villeneuve.
I would love to imagine. I would love to imagine someone failing to pronounce something at the Oscars. That's just trivial.
They were all pronouncing it Pong Junho.
That's true.
So
that was weird.
Ping pong.
Ping pong Junho.
What was it, like the neighbor's widow or window?
Yeah, the neighbor's Shia.
The neighbor's window.
And then there's Adele Dazeem from John Travolta.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say that.
Oh yeah, the most prestigious awards show. I wonder, 420 is in 2 days. I wonder what Derek's gonna do. Because like he said he was gonna be live streaming or something. I looked on his website. I don't even see because like he posted a video saying like for people to pre-purchase the live stream thing. I don't even see an option on his website, so I don't know what's happening.
I just remember seeing a thing on Twitter where it was like on the Cool Cat Twitter, him with a gun, and it was like he's fighting the coronavirus.
That was pretty good.
Still on.
I was thinking about that, and I honestly think that he made that video because he's all like, "Well, you guys can come to the 420 awards because we're gonna kill the coronavirus, so it won't won't happen."
Yeah, of course.
I'm a little concerned by how little he takes it seriously.
Yeah.
It's the weed smoke will kill the virus.
Yeah, I love how like the profile photo of like the Cool Cat Funhouse, I think, channel on YouTube is of like Daddy Derek holding a handgun.
Is it?
It's like the Cool Cat.
No, I don't think
like,
so.
Gonna be there.
It might be like another account.
Okay, so I've actually been out of the loop with the whole Cool Cat thing. I did not know that he got rid of Cool Cat's actor.
Oh yeah.
I saw the video of him trying to play Cool Cat, and it's so obvious.
Oh, it's so good.
Him.
A friend of mine.
Do we know when the Cool Cat film is supposed to come out?
I don't know if he's ever gonna do it because he keeps raising money for it, and then he keeps releasing other like. Now he's like the new film is Cool Cat Flips a House. It's like, well, you can't just keep changing it after like it seems like he's just scamming people.
Yeah, I mean, given how many times he has done that, it sounds like he is scamming.
The last thing he posted as an update about it was 4 months ago.
Yeah, so like I also heard that Cool Cat Flips a House is also going to come out on 420, so I don't know what's happening.
On 420? What? Oh, okay. I thought you said that it was gonna try play like during the award show. Or something.
I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna release it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Are you gonna make a commentary track on the next Cool Cat or just a YMS video?
Oh, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Whatever is it next Cool Cat?
Yeah, I don't think there has been a new one since like Cool Cat Saves the
It's
Kids,
like Cool Cat Flips a House is probably just going to be the same movie again with 10 minutes of extra footage. Like
that wouldn't shock me.
Oh yeah,
that's what he's been doing.
Yeah, I honestly bought the superhero film thinking that it was a completely different movie. Wah, wah.
Yep. Yeah, he loves selling the same movie over and over and over again.
Cool Cat touches a hot wire.
I'd love to just be inside of the brain of Derek Savage. I just really want to know what's going on in there.
It doesn't sound pleasant.
Being John Malkovich.
I don't think I'd want to. I don't think I'd want to see what's going on.
Being Derek Savage.
Okay, being Derek Savage.
That is a door I'm not crawling into.
Okay, Adam works at an office.
That's just like asking you want to see what's inside Film Bob's head.
You mean Movie Bob?
It's Movie Bob.
Movie Bob. Oh God, no.
I watched Dead Wing Dork's videos on him, and oh my gosh, that guy is a nut.
Being Derek Savage, Adam works at an office job, and he finds a portal to Derek Savage's mind.
I would like. I think the one thing I remember from like that Game Over Thinker video is how he called grease on your fingers food goo.
What the fuck?
God.
Excuse me.
I'll be right back. I'm just gonna use the washroom.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, dude.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention to Movie Bob a long time ago intentionally. Like,
oh my gosh, I think one of my favorite things, and I don't know if you guys know it. I don't know if you guys know what Elite Dangerous is. But I always have these people scanning my ship, and I'm in this ginormous ship that looks like a fucking Star Destroyer. And like carrying anything nice? Like, I don't know. It's hilarious because they're like these small ships, like asking for trouble.
Nice.
Mm.
Yeah.
What were your guys turned out? I don't know.
Oh shit!
Making small talk out there.
Adam's back. Yeah.
I made it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
saved us.
Didn't last
Yeah.
Does
these
Gael
guys
live with
did not
Adam?
last a
Yes.
minute. Oh.
Oh yeah, Adam, what do you make of the of South by Southwest trying to do their thing over Amazon Prime?
I would like to see how it goes. It's only for
What is
U.S. residents, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got
never
like
understood that.
I got like an email back from Cannes Film Festival about my press application. They're like, yeah, it looks good, but we're not doing the festival. But they wanted like more information. They didn't say like, oh yeah, like I don't know if they're gonna do anything digital or not. Like Cannes would be like the last film festival I would expect to adopt that sort of thing, because like the whole French cinema culture is very like traditionalist in a way. But
Cannes Film Festival.
it would be
coming
nice to
Disney
like
Plus
be able to
this
watch
year.
Cannes movies from home. Like that'd be awesome. I would love to do that.
Yeah, like hosted on their website.
Because Cannes is important. It's like in terms of like the movies that come out in a year, like that's the most important film festival in terms of like the stuff that I like. So
what are you most excited for this year?
I don't know if anything I'm excited for this year is coming out this year.
What about the French Dispatch?
What about what?
Hey
French
everyone,
Dispatch.
are you guys excited for
Say that again.
The Last of Us Part 2?
French Dispatch.
French Dispatch?
Oh, the French Dispatch?
Yeah.
Dispatch? Dispatch? Is that the Wes Anderson thing?
Yeah, it's the new Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah, is that
It
coming
looks
out this year
awesome.
though? I don't know. Like that
Yeah,
Dune,
yeah, it's
Tenet,
supposed to come out like
Movie to
fall,
November.
like October.
Yeah,
like,
I don't
right
know.
After TIFF.
I don't know if like these things are gonna actually happen. I don't think TIFF is gonna happen.
I think it is. I don't know.
No, because like until we have a vaccine, like large scale gatherings like that aren't going to be like viable.
I mean, they did find an antibody, but it's going to take a year to develop. So
Yeah, exactly. So
it's crazy how like much this coronavirus thing has just blown up, right? I don't think anybody's really expecting for it to get this large.
I was.
It kind of makes me wonder, like, if these earthquakes happened sooner in Utah, I wonder if Sundance would have been like canceled, because that would have been a huge scare.
Yeah, Sundance happened right when shit was starting to go down in Asia for the coronavirus.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember because
they just reopened theaters in China, so that kind of gives me a little hope.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't use China as like the reference for.
No, don't use China for a reference of hope, because they like to spout bullshit to us. So
yeah, it's a communist country.
Yeah, didn't they like open theaters back up for like a week and then close them again?
Yeah,
I thought I heard something like that.
Do that.
I don't understand this mindset that like everything will just be normal in like 2 months. Like it's not on a timer.
It's people wanting it to get back
safe.
that way, and also not like fully
I mean,
processing like what is happening. Because people have expectations of like normalcy and like routine, and it's really difficult to get people out of the mindset of like what they're familiar with and be like, okay, well, shit's gonna be different for a while, and so
it's gonna sound crazy of me to say it, but if I was gonna guess and say like if this was gonna be used as like a biological weapon, it was probably gonna be more for the financial aspect. Like, it's not about if it's going to kill people, but rather how is it going to tank the economy?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems
but I'm not a skeptic.
It seems unlikely that it's a biological weapon.
There was,
I know.
In nature,
but
there was an article that proves it wasn't.
If I was to think with a fictional like mindset, like that would make an interesting story.
All you have to do to get rid of the virus is get rid of all the 5G towers.
That's a funny one, and it's funny how it's like mostly just in the UK. Like everywhere in the UK, people are like destroying 5G towers for no reason.
There's people in America like talking
Also in
about
Holland
it
is
too.
Definitely
happening
people
the
in America
burning
too.
of the 5G towers.
I do know
It's-
some people in America that think the 5G thing is legit.
Oh god.
The ultimate correlation causation fallacy.
Oh, no.
Do they also believe in miasma theory?
What's miasma
What's
theory?
that?
Bad air theory, like bad air like causes fucking sickness. And when I
Yeah,
say
that was
bad
like
air,
a
I mean like
thing
stench.
back in the Black Death, right? That was
Wow,
Yeah.
it's the air.
like
Oh
doctors
no.
worried about.
It's the plants.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
M. Night.
happening.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
I think so
He
far
really
my
is a
favorite.
prophet.
I think my favorite
Or just
Corona
the
memes
science,
are
Jake.
the. I think my favorite
Jake's
Corona memes are the
perfect.
day X of quarantine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
They really.
Adam,
It's
you
like
just
day. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
you just mentioned like The Happening, Adam. Did you
Yeah.
know that Roger Ebert gave The Happening the same score as The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable?
What was the
He
score?
gave it like
Oh man.
3 out of 4 stars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
know.
Wait,
That's
what?
kind of surprising. He said.
I mean,
people
he's
wouldn't
got a
look-
ton of ratings that are like that. Like, he's not like a person who has like infallible taste in movies or anything. He's just very poetic
Yeah.
and very thoughtful in terms of how he communicates his opinions most of the time.
Yeah.
I would say most
Yeah,
of the
I'm
time.
not saying
Yeah.
he's like wrong, but I found that
Yeah.
pretty interesting. Like, there are a lot of things that I disagree, with him about,
Mm-hmm.
like movies stuff.
Yeah.
That's the thing about like critics is you don't have to agree with them. Just
Unless they're me.
Yeah.
Everyone has to
you're
agree with Adam.
You're God incarnate of the film universe.
But as far as the coronavirus stuff goes, I think I could see it go until like next year because like that's
It
when
probably will.
That's my
when the vaccine-
assumption.
Yeah.
It probably will. At
It
least
probably
until next
will,
year.
but I don't think that will mean like we'll still be in a shelter in place, but we'll probably like have to wear masks and shit.
Well, if we're smart, we'll do everything we can.
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Well, I mean, the U.S. is not one of those countries.
Yeah, that's
so-
part of the
Yeah,
problem. Is
smart.
like in order to open things back up, like and have a society where every precaution is being taken and everyone's wearing masks, you need to have like the public cooperation with that. United States is
Exactly.
not a place where that's going to happen.
No.
Oh yeah, and we're already
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah,
that.
yep.
That's already not happening
Can
with like
confirm.
social distancing.
However,
and shit.
People are protesting.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
president's tweeting saying liberate these states. Like,
In the United
Yeah.
States, it's so fascinating because like there's so many things to be protesting about, especially with this coronavirus thing. Like people could be protesting about like the lack of like support for people who losing their jobs and that like basic
yeah.
one-time
Oh, yeah.
only $1,200 check, or like this massive
Checks that get
bailout to all these
delayed
like
so that
gigantic
Trump's
corporations.
signature can be on them.
But instead,
yeah.
people are protesting, being like, "I want to go back to work and make the rich richer and kill myself," and that's literally what the protest is about.
exactly.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, holy shit, you've been conditioned.
It's the
Alright.
American
Yeah,
dream.
and-
So
And-
Michigan's
and-
been having some good protests. I guess their stores are not allowing them to buy basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I am
Like
just
RC.
very glad because I worked at a movie theater and I got fired in January, and now I'm a pizza delivery driver. So I narrowly missed it. Now I'm tons of demand.
Yeah.
Gosh, now that you say it, I do want pizza.
I
No.
think the cooperation part is definitely like super key. Like if you look at what's happening in British Columbia right now, where we live,
Sorry.
we're looking at easing restrictions, like not like obviously removing restriction, but kind of like easing them a little bit, like near the end of this month or next month. But that's also because if you look at our case numbers, like how many cases we're getting, it's actually going down in British Columbia,
Absolutely.
and it's going down because no one, like everyone's just max self-isolating. There's no protests. There's no people. Everyone's just like doing what the government is telling them to do. And now we're getting the opportunity potentially to ease a little bit of restrictions. It's not going to be anywhere near like what people want in terms
it's
of
not
going
gonna be
back to
back
work or
normal.
anything. Like everyone's going to be still working from
Yeah.
home. But still, like I think that's the most important thing. Is if you just that's the irony of it, is like
Yeah.
people are so eager to reopen the economy, but if you just just chilled for a bit. Then you can just open the economy anyway. Like it's not a big deal. It's
yeah,
just ironic.
It's counterproductive to like have a big protest and a mass gathering being like, we don't want to have to stay inside. It's like, well, you just probably extended the amount of time that people are going to have to stay inside.
It's unreal.
Yeah, they're idiots.
Like,
what the hell are you doing? You're stupid.
People are treating it like you can't go outside. It's like, well, you can go outside, just not too near people.
In a mask, don't go near groups. The problem with America is, well, and I guess probably some other places because people are just dumb. But the problem is like people
more so America than other places.
The problem is people who are taking it serious, or not seriously, personally. Like like everyone's just like, I want my life to be on track. It's like we all want that, and that's why we have to be smart.
People think that they're gonna start installing checkpoints and have martial law and
I mean,
those people
what's kind of like upsetting about this is like in terms of America specifically, like the mindset of not believing anything the government says and like assuming everything's a big conspiracy and et cetera, like trying to take away my rights thing. It's almost like inevitable because the government's so shitty that it's like, of course it's going to breed that kind of mentality when literally it's like, how did the government react to the crisis? They just, they bailed out a bunch of gigantic corporations and then gave like crumbs to the peasants, and that like literally like their banks can take away if they have any outstanding debts anyway. The way that the government's been reacting to it in terms of like Trump calling it a hoax at first and like not really doing much on a federal level and just being like, well, let's leave it up to the states, and the states are saying shit like, yeah, religious gatherings, those are fine. WWE is an essential service, and like, yeah, like of course it's going to breed that kind of nonsense when the government is just so fucking incompetent that like, how could anyone have trust in the government, especially in the United States?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I want to move to Canada the next few years after I've gotten my master's degree.
A lot of people do, apparently.
I'm probably gonna move to like Toronto.
So many people who want to move to Canada.
It does make me appreciate how smart my church is
on moving
being,
to Canada in 2 years from now.
Good luck.
In Spain, we have the same problem as the USA. I mean, the government started very late the confinement. Actually, a week previous there was the women rights march, and the week previous to the coronavirus, where our containment starts. And all the heads of the government in Spain went to the gathering. In like 2 days later, the confinement started.
Yeah. Rip.
Yeah, and also that whole thing with don't wear masks, they don't protect you. And now in certain states, they're like, now you have to wear a mask outside. Like it's a requirement. It's just like, well, okay, well, fuck.
I think the logic there is that
the masks are for avoiding contagion, not if you're not contagious sick yourself, it's not going to protect you, but it's more about protecting the others.
Yeah, but like people don't know they're sick when they're sick is the problem. So like it's going to be a benefit if more people are wearing masks. I don't understand why they would discourage that other than because there's a shortage and they want to have hospitals having these things first.
I think that's one of the considerations. I think the other one is they don't want people to have a false sense of security and just start gathering again because they think the masks will keep them safe. I think there's a danger there that if everyone starts wearing masks, they start thinking, oh, I'm wearing a mask, it'll be fine. I can just carry on as normal. I think that's part of the logic, and the other part obviously being the PPE is important, and you can't.
I think honestly the most important thing is just covering any possible orifice.
My friend who works at a Walgreens in Arizona just told me that like they're making them wear masks now, but like before now, they weren't allowed to wear masks at a Walgreens, at a pharmacy.
That's lame.
Yeah.
Just wait and see what happens, and just hope for the best. Honestly.
Yep.
Well, it's funny, like getting all these like.
And stay inside. Don't be stupid. That's basically just
I
use
know,
your head.
exactly.
Just use your head.
It's getting to a point where. It's
So actually, it does make me think because my mom, she is a nurse, and they told her she had to repurpose her mask.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that is just such a shitty thing to do. But I know it's not the hospital's fault. It's because people like stole from the hospitals.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing a couple of things like that regarding masks, where they've been warding off like departments, like in hospitals. You just have a ward just for coronavirus patients, so that you don't have to sanitize, or so you can use your mask for more than one person. The logic being that the reason you would need to switch masks is because if you're dealing with someone with coronavirus and then you go to another patient who doesn't have it and you're still wearing that mask, well then, you know, there's a risk of infection there. But if you're only dealing with coronavirus patients all day, then it's not a big deal to reuse the same mask. That's the logic between, but that's only if you do the so-called cohorting of patients, where you cohort certain patients in wards and go, you only deal with coronavirus patients for this shift, and you can reuse your mask a couple of times. That's kind of the logic there. Again, it's not foolproof, and there's some aspect of preserving PPE, and there's some risk involved, but there's some logic to it. Everything is just everything has some logic to it, I think, at the end of the day.
What's really funny is that, you know, my mom's been a little concerned about it, but like the day she went to go work at the coronavirus unit, it just got shut down because we had no patients, apparently.
Yeah.
So
just wait and see.
Actually, I kind of wonder.
You're in California, we can't leave the houses without masks on. Well, we can't like go into a lot of.
Apparently, in California, the mayor is he's
the mayor of California,
or not the mayor, the governor.
L.A. or
governor.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but the governor said something like, you know, snitches get rewarded.
Oh yeah. I heard something like that. I don't know what I just saw the headline. I didn't click on like the article, so I don't know how deep that goes. But there's been some. I've seen some weird claims around that too. I definitely would, you know, scrutinize them with a close eye when you see something like this. It's weird. I've heard some claims in that to that effect. But
I honestly don't keep up either. I'm just staying inside and doing what I can.
You just live there. Is all.
Wearing a mask out. I don't want to hear all the politics of it. Just be smart.
Oh,
being
absolutely.
smart.
Just use your head. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Don't turn a stupid virus into a political gain.
I really hate that that's happening.
Yeah. It is. Yes.
Yeah, it's inevitable in America. Everything's politicized.
I know.
Yeah, can't confirm.
The thing I hate about American politics is someone has to point the finger.
Everyone's
like sports.
Oh, it's the conservatives. No, it's the liberals. It's like, who gives a shit? It's a virus. Stay safe.
It's people. They're people at like Santa Monica. Even I heard protesting. And did you guys see that picture of a protester who was like completely dressed up, like with the mask and like
with a sign that says coronavirus is alive.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just I try not to pay too much attention to those.
Me too.
That's just begging for attention. I swear.
Something that was like really controversial was when like Trump halted funding to like the World Health Organization because they were mismanaging the coronavirus.
That's a can of worms.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is actually a good reason for that. The last few years, the OMS has been losing funds from the US and the Europe, and China has been the main country funding it. And now the head of the OMS is a doctor from a biologist from a country, Ethiopia, who is basically like a colony of China, a country that has been invested a lot for China and is pushing a sort of pro-China agenda. At least.
I mean, there's.
That's why they don't talk with Taiwan, even if Taiwan knew better things about the coronavirus.
That clip of the WHO guy that like wouldn't even recognize Taiwan as like a country, and like pretended to like not hear her question and then hung up on her. Like that guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Another thought. In Czech Republic, a country that the mayor of the capital, Prague, is pro-Taiwan and has expressed it clearly a lot in piece of the Chinese government. And around January, they receive a call from the mayor of Taipei, head officials of Taiwan, and they told him, there is a pandemic coming, be worried, don't listen to the OMS or China, be worried. And now they are one of the only countries in Europe that can go out now.
Yeah, it's like if people are screwed because we took China's word for it.
Yes. This is not a political issue. I'm a leftist, but I don't like China.
China's full of shit.
Yeah.
I would like to see a world where countries become independent from China.
The representative for
and maybe this would be a good excuse, I guess.
Especially the film world.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that too.
Now,
the Chinese government fall.
France and the UK are now going more with Trump in that issue because now the French president is saying we shouldn't trust the word of China.
Yeah. I mean, there's arguments to make. It's not like completely unfounded or anything. I do think that Trump taking that stance has more to do with him trying to alleviate the blame and his own mismanagement of the crisis. But there is some truth to what he's saying for sure. It is just him like trying to point fingers and be like, "It's not my fault."
They've done it in the past. They've done it in the past, and they're going to keep doing it. And it's true that we can't trust China on these matters, but it doesn't mean that we can't trust the World Health Organization. I think those are different entities.
Yeah, and
absolutely. Yes, and they have a reason. They have reasons why they need to be diplomatic with China. And yes, like it gets political, and you get Taiwan, you get all things. But I think, to go the step further and start, shitting on the World Health Organization is a little irresponsible. Like, yes, there's criticisms. There's criticisms. Yes. It's not a perfect organization. You can criticize it, but like, you have to have. It's a global pandemic. You have to have some centralized way of dealing with it. I don't know.
There is another problem with the OMS. China has a private health system worse than the US. Private. Mm-hmm. So most patients have to pay the 75% of the treatment in the hospitals. That is only in the richest regions. In the rural regions, the poorest regions of China, they don't have any money, so they can go to the hospital and they die. So there they lower the bar for graduating as medical professionals and allow basically homeopaths, traditional medicines, and wizards, basically to be granted the title of doctor, and they treat the rural patients with traditional medicine. And now China is trying to force the OMS to recognize traditional medicine as
like holistic bullshit.
Medicine. They did it. They did it. In 2022, it's going to be legal. The OMS is going to recognize it as legal. I mean, in Europe,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
No. It's already official.
I know, but I mean, the thing is.
Yes, I know. No, we shouldn't keep growing the conspiracies. It's counterproductive and fake news and all that. And I hate Trump. I don't want to give him the reason on this. But
and that's the thing is gosh.
Yes.
I don't like Trump, but man, I think honestly, I think we should stop blaming everyone for that. And I don't know. I just wish I knew the whole story. I don't care to read the news because I stopped reading the news after I got over my depression.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped reading the news after 2016.
Well,
yeah.
So I remember when ISIS was really huge, and I was scared of the whole prosecuting Christians and shit, and I was like, I said, I am one myself.
Basically.
Hey,
but
Adam?
Yes,
I was really scared. Sorry, but I remember I was really scared during that time, but I realized that the news was literally causing that scare, that fear, and I think that's something we should all recognize, is that the news profits off of this shit. We need to look at the brighter stories, the ones that are uplifting.
I think you're right, and that the news is, especially today, it's the biases towards sensationalism, laziness, getting clicks, attention, but we still have some responsibility to try to stay informed, because that's our only weapon, really.
Mm-hmm.
We are
informed from official sources, not
we
from
are
them.
a very half glass empty kind of country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only news I trust is Mike Cernovich.
Yeah, I get daily updates from CNN about the coronavirus. You can like go on their website and put in your email, and they'll send you like daily updates about like the coronavirus every single day. It's kind of it's a good way to keep up with this stuff. But I just see like the number of like global cases and deaths going higher and higher, and I start like freaking out.
The thing is, I see
crazy.
The way I see CNN is they know how to turn lemonade back into lemons. So, like,
Don
give
Lemon.
them good news and they'll find ways. Yeah. Oh, of course. Well, they'll take good stories and like actual uplifting stories and find bad news in them, and it's like, just be happy.
Hey Adam.
Yes.
I saw on the subreddit. How was your birthday?
It was fine. I mostly just worked the whole day.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy late birthday. I forgot.
Yeah,
that was almost done with your like
4 days ago. Yeah, it was on Tuesday.
Yeah, you almost done with your Kimba video. I mean,
we're getting there. I'm trying to get it out near the end of the month. That's my goal.
Okay.
I think it's possible.
How long is that video supposed to be?
I've passed the hour mark, and I think it's still going to be another like 15 or 20 minutes on top of that.
Yeah, because
just for the Kimba video.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lion King video is going to be like even longer.
We'll see. I think they might both be around the same length.
All right.
I was gonna say, is it gonna be like? Is the Lion King review gonna be like 3 hours? That's like a joke.
It would be if the Kimba stuff was in the Lion King review, but they're separate videos. So.
And you already started on the Lion King?
Thing doesn't surprise
yeah, there's a lot
me.
of work that I've done for the Lion King stuff. You can see on the YMS highlights channel all the stuff I was going through there. But I need to do the recording and editing process. So basically, from like, if let's say that both of these projects each take 4 months, which the Kimba project, we're at the 4-month mark pretty soon, and it's almost done. Let's say both of these projects take 4 months each. I've already done the first 2 months of work on the Lion King. So cool. I just need to pick up from like the halfway point after I'm done Kimba.
I know what you mean, though. Editing's really hard, so...
What about the Hulk commentary?
I need to message one of my editors about that and see how they're doing, because I usually like to I usually like to have the Admin Pals edit pretty ready before I release the commentary track, and then just do them like one day after the other instead of like releasing a commentary and then having people wait a while for the edit. So like that's recorded, but we'll like it. And I mean, like the last episode of 13 Reasons Why is still coming, I think this month anyway. So
there's one more.
Yeah, there'll be a final episode of the 13 Reasons Why season 3.
I didn't know if there was like 1 or 2 or 3 more, but I was waiting for it.
Yeah, the last 2 episodes of the show should theoretically be one video.
A friend of mine, my friend that me and him, we do the podcast. We're gonna start doing commentary tracks as well. So we were wondering, what is the best way to record commentaries?
Are you doing it in person, or are you doing it long distance?
We're doing it long distance.
What we did is we just talked through Discord and had each other record our own audio separately. And then just hit play at the same time with the same file, and then just edit the tracks together.
Yeah, we have an app called Anchor that we use for our podcast, but we also use it we could also use it for the commentary, because you can it's literally just basically the same thing as a phone call, but it's just recorded and you get to edit it and everything. So I might just use that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you sync it when you do that? Do you count like 3, 2, 1 each of you, or?
Yeah, and then do a clap or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, the clapping is the best way to sync, honestly. Mm-hmm. So
Discord has a bit of delay,
especially like if you clap on camera. It'll
that's
like,
what I'm wondering. So how would you know, like, if you and the other person clapped at the same time because of the delay of the call?
That would just be like up to you in terms of like, if you listen through a bit of it and it sounds a bit off sync, then you can adjust it, but it's more or less like within a second, I guess, of accuracy.
Also, yeah, like
Okay, that's what I figured. I was thinking of doing something like that. So that's good to know.
Yeah. I mean, what we're doing, we're not doing like live commentaries, like with like comments and everything. We're pre-recording it. That's why.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I wish like I could waste all my money and get an art tablet. I think one thing I'd love to do during this whole thing is draw.
Yeah. Same.
I'm thinking about doing web comics because
Sure.
I think one thing I found that I do really well in terms of storytelling is world building. So, I don't know.
Seriously,
that's just something that someone told me, but because I was
seriously thinking of writing being Derek Savage, making that into a story. Don't steal it.
I just want a Derek Savage documentary.
I would love to see Derek Savage make like a pretentious art film.
I think you're the only one who could write it, Adam. I think
you're the one who knows enough about
I would need to be at least a consultant.
Right. Well, if I made one, would you like to be a producer?
Derek consultant.
You remember the scene where everyone is Malkovich?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that scene.
But Derek Savage.
Yeah.
Savage.
You know, it just seems like Derek Savage would be like perfect in a Tim and Eric environment. I swear.
Yeah.
Like,
when do we get a crossover of Cool Cat and Five-ish?
That'd be pretty cool.
Crossover of what?
Five-ish.
Five-ish, the Jewish children's mascot. That's a big stack of money.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I watched one of those.
I just saw that YMS highlight video of it.
Yeah,
why is that a thing?
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
I guess the question is why not?
Your favorite part is when you lost your shit over that one song.
Yeah.
Where I think he was dancing in Israel or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why don't they just make their mascot Kyle Schwartz from South Park, or if you guys don't know, Kyle's cousin.
Oh, I don't remember.
He's the most stereotypical Jewish kid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I remember that character.
Oh, that light was terrible.
I think Matt Stone is supposed to be Jewish, so I think they get away with it.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite running on gags in that episode is how his cousin kept saying, like, "I'm back."
Yeah.
That was not funny.
Yeah, that was a funny episode.
Even the fucking, what is it called? What is that thing that Mr. Garrison he invents some kind of a gyroscope thing.
Oh, I don't remember.
It goes like in his ass, like his
vehicle that's
powered. It's powered by like
something.
Yeah, it's something that shoves up your ass.
Right, you shove it up your ass, and then you like jerk off two dicks, and it's a vehicle. I remember that one.
And there's like a thing in their mouths too.
Yeah. It's buttons to control like the turn signals and shit. So,
do you think the best movies to do commentaries to are ones that are bad, so you get to make fun of them, or do you think it's good ones because you get to appreciate the accomplishments of it?
I wouldn't. It's not really on brand for me to want to do like a commentary on like a movie I consider great. I would rather break it down in like a review format. I think the casual kind of like point things out as you watch it format that a commentary is. I think that works better for bad things that are funny.
Yeah, like the fanatic.
I started listening to a lot of directors' commentaries on my Blu-rays, and I think that's actually a great way to learn about filmmaking.
Yeah, from the person who made it, especially.
Yeah. Like I recently watched, well, I guess rewatched because I was watching the commentary of The Farewell. Do you remember that movie from last year?
Yep.
I had issues with it the first time I watched it. Like you pointed this out too in your review about the rotating table, but then she actually clarified this in her commentary about how she didn't like control it, like it was like moving too slowly, and then
that's what I figured.
So I think Yeah, I just love learning about behind the scenes stuff. I want to be a filmmaker when I grow up. I want to be an aspiring filmmaker, and I think that's just an important way of learning.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the rotating table isn't like it doesn't define the movie. It's just like a little technical goof, right?
Oh yeah, I just forgave it more after thinking about it.
Yeah, when you hear people like being self-aware and owning up to it, especially.
Also, the Disaster Artist commentary is actually hilarious. They have Tommy Wiseau in it.
Oh, nice.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it.
What did Tommy Wiseau think of that movie anyway? I never really got a chance to see it yet.
I think he liked it fine.
I mean, he's getting paid for it.
Yeah.
It was my favorite movie.
The Golden Globes for this.
It was my favorite movie. It was my favorite movie of 2017, but then I recently watched The Killing of a Sacred Deer, and that might be my favorite.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, have you seen Loveless?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Is that the Russian?
Yes, the Russian film.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's great.
Or I mean, I was asking Aji, I think is his name.
Yeah.
You seen
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, have you seen Loveless?
Boy.
No, I've heard great things about it though.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that. That was a pretty great film.
I saw something in chat though that did make me remember something I wish I could see, but I wish I could have seen if like Neal Breen has ever like seen Adam's review.
Does he follow you on anything, Adam?
Neal Breen?
Yeah.
No.
Imagine.
Okay.
Do you think he knows that you exist?
I'm positive he knows that I exist. But I mean,
he probably doesn't want to speak out about like his thoughts on any critics' viewpoints on his movies. He probably wants to keep it to himself.
I think he welcomes it to some extent.
Yeah.
He probably welcomes it, and who knows? Maybe he does know that his movies aren't. Well, they're great. They're wonderful. They are works of art. But in the sense of it, I don't know if he knows like how I think he knows how good his craft is. That
I don't know.
He's
weird.
very self-aware. I think.
We were talking about Tommy Wiseau earlier. If you compare Tommy Wiseau and Neal Breen, it feels like Tommy Wiseau was trying to write something serious that he thought was real, and then when everyone started shitting on it, he just immediately changed course and went, "Oh yeah, it was a comedy the whole time."
Yeah.
But with Neal Breen, it's like he's doing the same thing, except when people start, shitting on it, he was like, "It's art, and he can interpret it however you want."
Yeah.
Right? It's like he thinks
his films are so complex that he's able to tell himself that people just don't get it.
Exactly. It's a really cool. That's why I kind of enjoy his stuff a little bit more. Obviously.
I think you could really say that about any movie because I feel like a lot of people can get different reactions to any movie. Really.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like there are a lot of movies you could get away with that excuse. I mean, you should definitely have a valid point though.
You know, people think that Neal Breen movies are like unironically good.
You know what? I have to share this. The day the Fateful Findings review was posted was the day my friend almost killed me. So
what?
Oh.
Here's a little backstory. My friend, I'm typically lazy, and he's very active. He thought if he like spiked my drink with half thing of like Mio energy, it would make me active. However, it did the opposite thing. It made me feel like I was having a fever dream. And I was about to have a heart attack. And
oh my God.
So I just kept puking the whole night. But before that, I saw the Fateful Findings review, and I was like, this has to be a part of the fever dream, right? Like this can't be real. So I was sitting there watching Fateful Findings. I was sitting there watching the Fateful Findings review. I was like,
it's a great movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
no,
10 out of 10.
I bought it. I bought it because I had to. I could not just pass it up.
Yeah.
And my friend and I watched it another night, thankfully, without spiking my drinks with Mio energy.
I loved showing Fateful Findings to my dad, but I don't think he appreciated it.
my dad watched it, and he was like, he was just blown out of the water because of this. He was like, what are we watching?
I never really got into Neal Breen personally.
Neal Breen's the best.
I get it. It's just not my cup.
No, you don't get it.
Well, I don't get it.
Like you.
Like no.
It means what you want it to mean.
How do you watch it? Where can you
find entertainment in it?
I will say I agree with you on one thing. Like I actually didn't like Fateful Findings that much.
I love it.
Yeah,
I know, but I did enjoy I Am Here Now. That movie did it for me.
Yeah, I
don't know why. I know that like Fateful Findings is like it was more absurd objectively, but for some reason I Am Here Now I really got into a lot more.
Everybody has their favorite.
How could you go wrong with Cyber Christ? Like seriously.
I actually do kind of hate Double Down, which I think was like
Double Down is like kind of a challenge because it's so repetitive.
Yeah. I tried
it's
like
really repetitive.
Ago
I had no idea what was happening and it was just exhausting.
It's just
I tried to get like I tried to get like two of my I tried to get like two of my friends to watch Double Down with me like years ago, and it wasn't doing it for any of us. But it was absurd. But we were just like, what? We were not enjoying it.
I mean, if you're gonna watch the Breen movies, I don't think there's anything wrong with skipping Double Down.
Yeah. A Twisted Pair was fun though. I saw that at the Alamo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How can you watch these movies? Like he doesn't sell them, right?
He sells all but his first two.
Okay.
Wait, what?
His first two, he just like decided not to.
That's kind of an odd choice.
Sell anymore. Well, he just like over time he's like, I guess he just kind of gets embarrassed by some of them, and like those two. I mean, they're like Double Down and I Am Here Now are probably the more like micro budgety, I guess, of all of them. I don't know. Like he sees that he's improved from that, and in ways like they are like bigger scale still.
I guess you could say that.
I can understand it, but I would prefer for him to just like own it and like always sell his old shit because people are just going to torrent it anyway.
Oh, okay.
Might as well make money off of it.
That's how you watch them. You torrent them. Okay.
That's what I always.
No,
thought,
I have every single one physical copy. I got those ones before he stopped.
Not like you. Like if I wanted to find them, where would I find them?
Probably torrent them.
Okay, cool.
Including a very rare Blu-ray.
Yeah, I still don't understand the Fateful Findings Blu-ray. I still don't understand how.
Did you say there's actually a difference?
It's 1080p. He only sells his movies on DVD, which is like not HD.
Can you see every pore on Neal Breen's nose?
Yes.
Are you gonna do another?
What the fuck are the 4K copies though?
Exactly, that's what I want to know. I want to see Neal Breen in his full 4K glory.
I want a Neal Breen box set Blu-ray.
Are you gonna?
I thought you were about to say you want a Neal Breen body pillow for some.
That too.
Me too.
Or Dakimara.
Get that and the Scar one. Like,
yeah.
Have a good night.
What would you rather watch? A Neal Breen documentary or a Derek Savage documentary?
I feel like the Derek.
I mean, about them as a person from someone else, I would like to watch a Derek Savage documentary. If it's a documentary directed by Derek Savage or Neal Breen, I would like to watch a Neal Breen documentary.
A documentary about Derek Savage would definitely be.
It needs to happen at some point. Just the story's still going. It hasn't ended yet. It could be like Tiger King. It could be like a multi-part Netflix thing.
I was just thinking that they should get the same person.
Fucking Tiger King.
Cat King.
Like, okay. Fucking nut job.
You know, if anything else,
doesn't get along with anyone.
Frederick Knudsen might do like a down of the rabbit hole.
I'm trying to get him to.
Derek Savage.
You're gonna
you just like slip letters under his door like with a box of chocolate or something like, hey. No, wait for him.
But like the story hasn't ended yet is the problem. Although, it's still going.
I think he is aware
the story is over.
How do you think it'll end?
I don't know. Maybe with a school shooting.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh man. Oh, Adam, did you have like other YouTubers? Have you like? Speaking of other YouTubers, have you ever seen Deadwing Dork's work?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, but
he covers all the weirdos on the internet, or as he calls them, the sickos.
Oh.
Like Caro the Wolf. But
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I sometimes watch these YouTubers on Mama, Max, and Nextpo. They talk about these weird internet conspiracies and
oh yeah,
in the internet. They're kind of good. They're good at that.
I don't think I could ever do it, but I was thinking like, if I were to ever live stream weird things, it'd be weird websites I come across. Like I found one that was just like a full on like conspiracy website.
Yeah, and
I love science. I would love to cover these.
All right, Deadwig Dork is following me on Twitter. Okay.
Yeah,
I found this. He's like a fan of yours.
Okay.
Yeah, I found this really weird website called Terminal 00. I don't know. It's a kind of a horror website game kind of thing. You know, I came across it from a video by Luigi Kid Gaming. Pretty interesting website. You know, some weird stuff, right? There's a lot of stuff on it to explore, and you may not notice all of it at first, but then you go down these like back doors and stuff, and you find more weird stuff. Pretty interesting.
I miss the old internet. There was a website.
It was awesome.
There was a website, and it might still be up. It was called Not Prawn.
Base Jam.
And I don't remember if it's an O or a 0. Yeah, here it is. Notprawn.org with an O and not a 0. And it's like an online... Is this the thing? Yeah, it's an online puzzle, like kind of like think outside the box game where you you have to figure out how to get to the next page. And so you're on like page 1, and then how do you get to page 2? And let's see if I can give an example here, because it was very interesting. I never beat it. There's like a short list of people that have beaten it. Let's see.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
if you Google search Not Prawn, and then it'll be the first link, notprawn.org/notprawn, and then you click start, and it's like enter the door, and it's just like, okay, simple. You just click on the door. Okay, I'm on page 2, and then it's like, okay, well, how do I get to the next page? And then I think, if I remember correctly, you go into the URL and replace the number 2 with 3. Yeah, there you go. Yep. So I'm on page 3, and this is like hundreds of pages here, and it gets to like such a like insane degree of like what you need to know in order to like progress, that sometimes you have to like go into like the developer tools of like the web page to find clues and stuff. There was like other ones where like you had to interpret like a code based on like the notes of frequencies being played. There were other ones where like you actually had to like Google search like the history of like the Beatles to find something to it's all like insane. And whoever's been running it, I don't know if this is still active, but like they basically they would change the results of how you could get to certain pages to try and stop cheaters. And if you got to a certain page using something that was no longer a part of the actual way to do it, if it was just like someone's walkthrough and he'd updated it since then, if you did that, you get IP banned, and you'd never be able to actually beat the game, which is pretty cool.
Good on them.
Sounds pretty frustrating.
Maybe we should just play that at some point.
Like, there's nudity on one page, so I wouldn't want to stream it. I remember there being nudity on one page.
You know what would be a fun idea?
What type?
That I feel like, which I think we're gonna do. I think what would be fun is if you do a movie that one person loves but the other person really hates, you get to see like both sides of a perspective.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Like, I think that's what we're gonna do because for example, I really hate the movie 8th Grade by Bo Burnham.
Why?
That's a movie that actually came out after I finished 8th grade and I wanted to go see it, but I was like, no, there's sexual content. It's rated R. You can't see it in the theater. So I never got to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
What are your gripes with 8th Grade?
I liked it.
Well, my friend loves it, but yeah. First of all, I don't like the main character at all. I found it very unlikable. I couldn't really get invested in it. I felt that the lighting wasn't very...
The technical aspects, the lighting and like the lenses and shit actually was bad, but I think that was because the guy that directed it was the guy who was like directing his stage production like Netflix things, which is like an entirely different environment, and he was just like, oh yeah, not directing. Bo Burnham directed it. The guy who was the DP was the same as like his stage production things, and that's such an entirely different format. And I think Bo Burnham was just like, oh yeah, I'll just work with the same guy because I already know this guy, but he should have just chose someone else, because if you look on the guy's IMDb, it's literally just like a bunch of Netflix comedy specials and then that movie, and then you can tell why it looks so shitty. But it's like an indie thing, and it's a first movie, so like there's some aspects that are forgivable for me.
I just felt like that a lot of it felt very unrealistic and very cartoonish, and I just feel like I've seen similar things like similar scenes from it from better movies.
I mean, like coming of age stories are really, really, really repetitive after a while, and formulated. But
I think it can be done right, but it's just I feel like this film was a big backfire in my opinion. Like
I still enjoyed it.
The car scene, I think there was a better similar scene to that in The Edge of 17, which I thought was a way better film in my opinion. But
I like that film. I think.
8th Grade definitely has its audience, so
I thought the opening scene in 8th Grade was like really set a weird tone for that movie because the rest of it was nothing like that.
I don't even remember the opening scene.
It was just like some guy masturbating in class or something, and it was like,
oh yeah, that was so dumb.
That was the opening scene.
That was a funny scene.
I thought it would be like. Sorry, I keep talking.
Just saying that was the main reason my mom didn't let me watch it, because of that scene. I didn't know that it would open with something like that. I mean, you know, if I had watched the movie and stuff and it opened like that, I would have thought the rest of the movie would be some weird sexual thing. But, you know, I don't think it is.
Yeah, it's not that sexually explicit, honestly.
No. I thought it'd be like over the top and weird and goofy after that, but like it was just kind of a little weird opening. But the cool thing about that movie is when I saw it in theaters, Bo Burnham and Elsie Fisher were there.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
I'll be back in like 1 minute. Hold on.
All right.
The film just felt very dishonest to me, to a point that it was kind of goofy.
And what was funny is that a lot of people were saying they liked it because it was honest and realistic about teen issues and stuff.
I felt like it was another Big Mouth, honestly. I don't... Because I think Big Mouth
is much more explicit with the sexual stuff.
Well, yeah, but I think in the same vein that like Big Mouth is a show that's very cartoonish with it. And I get it because it's a cartoon, but yeah. But no, like cartoonish with its dialogue about a school session, like school plays. I guess I can't remember the word.
Very like weird and like inconsistent with like its own like world.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
but overall, I did like the movie. It felt, you know, kind of nice to see that I wasn't crazy back in 8th grade. So,
from what I remember, I liked it, and from what I remember, I thought it was realistic enough about like issues, especially like a girl at that age would face. But
I remember the social media aspects being like pretty realistic.
Oh yeah,
right.
I mean,
there are a lot of like teenage, like coming of age films that I love, like Edge of 17, for example. But I also really loved This Is England.
Cyberbully.
And after I used to really like mid-90s, but then watching This Is England, I feel like,
it's like the same but worse.
Yeah, they really ripped off a lot of that movie.
Yeah,
it's a coming of age story. It's just like there's only so much you can do, and that's Like they all just feel really, really repetitive after a while. And yeah, mid-90s was really, really similar to This Is England.
Yeah. Did you any of you guys see Waves? I mean, I know YMS.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Oh yeah, I saw that film at TIFF. Yeah, that was.
I really
Did
wanted
you like it? Did you like that one, Augie? That's how I pronounce it.
Wait, Adam, what did you say about mid-90s? Because my screen froze.
I said that it's way too similar to This Is England.
Yeah,
you were asked about if you've seen Waves, though.
Yeah. Oh no, I've actually always wanted to see Waves, but I haven't. I've only seen It Comes at Night by Trey Edward Schultz, and I really like that film. But so yeah, I'm really excited to see Waves.
Yeah,
great.
I've heard its Waves is like really mixed. Like some people.
Yeah, I've heard divisive stuff.
There's enough to appreciate about it. Yeah. I think it's pretty great.
Without spoiling anything, I did not expect it to be the plot to be structured the way it was.
Yeah.
In Waves.
Yeah, no spoilers.
I'm not really a fan of like. I'm sorry, you could go first.
And the funny thing is, like, my mom actually really wanted to see it based on the trailer, but she wound up walking out of the room after the whole thing with Tyler.
Yeah, don't spoil anything.
I know. She's just
I feel like aspect ratio changes can be pretty pretentious, like, but I think it worked in like Mommy, but like I saw it in like It Comes at Night. It kind of felt kind of.
Yeah, the aspect ratio changes I think worked really, really well within the context of the film's plot and thematics.
Yeah, it did. Again, I just don't think my mom was expecting it to get dark like that. I don't know. I'm not spoiling.
Yeah, you can't. Like, I looked at the trailer too. I was like, you can't really market that movie. It's another one where it's like you can't. There's no way to market it and be like, this is the experience that you're gonna get from it. You kind of have to do something vague like that trailer.
It was a bit vague.
You know, I was. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Speaking of coming of age, I actually really like and really recommend the Harmony Korine written film Kids, which I actually think.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, that's supposed to be pretty risque. I don't think my parents.
I know what it's about. I know what happens.
It's
even
very dark. It is very explicit, but I think it's very honest, and I think it's a pretty realistic portrayal.
Funny thing is, it actually got like an NC-17 rating. And like the director Larry Clark wanted it to have an R rating, so like teens and parents could see it together. But the MPAA said no, so he wound up releasing it unrated.
Yeah, not surprising based on the subject matter.
There's not much nudity or sex in that film, but it is like they are teenagers in the end, and it is pretty. The dialogue is pretty explicit.
Yeah.
But I think it's great, honestly.
Yeah, I want to watch that, and I want to watch Julian Donkey Boy. Those are the only two like Harmony Korine things that I haven't really seen.
Yeah, I don't really like Harmony Korine otherwise. Like, I hated Gummo personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the Rotten Movies We Love book, right? That's a book from like Rotten Tomatoes that's like talking about all these movies that critics dumped on the Rotten Tomatoes editors actually like. One of them is The Strangers. And they were actually sort of like making some comparisons to the original Halloween, because they were saying it's just like Halloween, because in that one the Laurie was just some girl who happened to be home, so sort of like that.
The Strangers was trash.
Yeah.
There's a banging at the door.
Oh my gosh, there's a bang at the door.
Like what was it they played, like Joanna Newsom or was it?
Yeah, they did.
That's funny.
And then Strangers Pray at Night was just like funny.
Yeah, the trailer looked really bad.
What a pointless movie.
For some retro 80s bopper type thing.
Yeah, what the hell were they doing? It was such a pointless movie.
Well, at least you got laughter out of it.
Yeah, they were just like, hey, we're all like the nostalgic, crazy 80s kids. We'll make more money.
Yes, sometimes.
It didn't make any sense within the film.
Yeah, it didn't. It wasn't like. It seemed like something that they just did after the fact in the like credits and like.
Yeah.
Other than the girl wearing like Joy Division shirts and stuff, but like, it didn't really feel like an '80s movie. Aside from that.
But the entire trailer had this like cheesy 80s song playing over it. It was just so bad.
Yeah, I got a couple laughs out of that movie for sure, but I also forgot it existed until right now. Completely forgot about it. It's so pointless.
Yeah.
You know, I just remembered I was going to say something when someone brought up like aspect ratios changing. I thought it would be more creative, like if your like film takes place in like several like time periods, just to like change the color grading to those appropriate years.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that.
It's like, I don't know, like I did like how the Lighthouse kind of kept its that color or the black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And I did find out there was a reason behind it.
Yeah, the Lighthouse is on Amazon Prime now. I might want to go watch
right after I bought it.
I have the Blu-ray.
Wait, really? I just bought it too. Damn it.
I think it's a little overrated.
I mean, I like owning
whatever.
I don't know. It's got a lot of great things behind it. Like, I found out the reason they chose, I think they said like the reason he chose black and white is because you can see all this texture.
I listened to the commentary by what's his name, Robert Eggers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love the film. It's just after a third viewing, it kind of lost its magic for me. But I mean,
I was so happy to finally watch it.
I think it's perfect, but I wouldn't call it a masterpiece. Like, there are other films in 2019 that I would say are masterpieces. I just
I probably, after finally seeing it, agree with Adam that it might be my favorite film of 2019. It was great.
Yeah, it's
my
favorite.
It probably scared me more than it would have because it started storming here while I was watching it. So,
nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then it stopped. Like after I was done, I was spooked.
It scared my mom because it scared my mom when she wasn't in the room because she was downstairs directly below us and we had a sound bar. And she heard the booming and she thought it was another earthquake. So it's
oh
no! Just when the thunder and waves started crashing, she just came upstairs and she's like, "Oh, okay, that's what that is." And went back downstairs and tried to sleep. So
I think I'm gonna be watching Parasite with my mom tomorrow. I mean, I watched it with my dad, and since I loved it, she's been kind of wanting me to see it with me, even though my dad didn't really like it.
I saw Parasite with my family like a few days ago. This was my second.
I showed both of my parents that film.
Yeah,
that
was my second time watching the film.
Yeah, Parasite's one of the movies I showed to both my parents.
Left Texas.
I've been trying to do like a movie a night since I'm stuck at home. I've finally seen Lighthouse, Good Time, all this good stuff. I'm gonna watch Parasite tonight.
I've just been playing through Persona 5 Royalty for a good chunk of the time.
I've gotten through half of the original.
Adam would probably endorse this idea, but if you guys haven't seen Sunshine, I'd recommend seeing it. It's really good.
I'm wanting to see that too.
Yeah,
I forgot we were talking about that.
Yeah, way before. You know what? It's definitely like, out of nostalgia's sake, Alien's my favorite sci-fi movie of all time. But
yeah, it's mine too. Alien's my favorite.
Sunshine is wonderful.
Yeah, I saw all the Alien movies with my dad. I think Alien Resurrection was our least favorite. That was really lame.
I've actually started my Alien marathon just recently. I just watched the first one because it's like my second favorite movie, and I'm gonna watch Aliens.
I don't know if it counts as science fiction, but my favorite's probably Her.
Oh yeah, Her is fantastic.
Yeah, that would count.
And the funny thing is, I've seen people complain online because they're like, "Ugh, Her isn't science fiction-y enough. I wanted more of that." But
there's no spaceships.
No, I think it's.
Actually, I changed my mind. I would say
I wanted laser guns.
I guess if Groundhog's Day counts as science fiction, then sure.
Yeah,
I changed my mind. I would say 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say 2001.
Yeah, I saw that.
2001's my third favorite sci-fi movie. I can't say it's perfect.
All right. So we're gonna end the hangout pretty soon. I gotta get back to work on more Kimba shit. Make some food and stuff. Is there any final questions or comments? One at a time.
I recommend a short film to you.
Sure.
It's called Shock, SHOK, and it came out in, I believe, 2015 or 2014. Not really sure.
Let's see. Okay. I have added to my watch list.
I wish I could send you keys from Steam, so I can get you.
I thought you meant like your car keys.
Oh, that's fine.
No,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, I have my car. Like, it's not even mine. It's my mom's. So. But yeah, no, Receiver and Disaster Report. Those two I recommend.
Yeah, I'll probably be playing Disaster Report on tomorrow.
Oh, I will be there. Cafe 88 as usual in the chat. It was funny because I do remember looking back on the chat. There was that one guy who knew everything about Raw Danger. It's like, gosh, this guy knows more than I do, and I played this game lots of times.
Yeah, there's always an expert.
He knew as much as I would expect a developer to know. That's how much he knew about that game. I was like, wow. Like, he knew, like, granular, like, coding bugs and shit. He's like, oh, this is just a bug. And I was like, how do you know this specific? How do you, like, predictably can tell what's going to happen? If
like, is this your hobby? Like,
very weird.
Any other questions, comments before we end?
Yeah, I think I'd like one. Earlier you were mentioning that like you should do a live stream of a movie, and there would be two people on it. One person who like really liked it, another person who didn't like it. I'm curious, what are some other movies you think would be good for that? 'Cause I think one for me would be Gosford Park. Lots of people really like that, but I found it so boring.
Are you asking me like what movies are polarizing?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, in just, I just find that concept so interesting of, like, one person, two people are watching the movie and one person really loves it, one person hates it and stuff.
I mean, yeah, like, it really depends on the movie. For there's somewhere, like, a bunch of, the majority of my enjoyment from it will be from, like, the style of humor that's being presented, even if it's not, like, a technical masterpiece or anything like intelligent or like, mind-blowing. So like Kung Pao is a movie where like I love it. I think it's hilarious, but it's also kind of bad. And there's bad moments. And not just that, but like if you're not on board with the humor, then there's nothing for you there. Pretty much.
Yeah, I know. Right? And you like Neal Breen, and yet that stuff's like really badly made and stuff.
Neal Breen's great.
I was actually like playing The Forest the other day with a friend, and I was so glad he knew what Kung Pao was because we saw two bodies hanging upside down, and I just pulled the whole, I'm swinging a little more, I'm swinging a little less.
We are both
I think potentially a film that might be polarizing, maybe we mentioned earlier, was Martyrs.
Yeah.
Which is a film that I know Adam really liked and I didn't like as much.
I'm very.
I don't know if I'd say I'd hate it, but that could be a film that I'm sure some people would have strong opinions on.
Yeah.
It's very repetitive, but yeah.
Any other final questions, comments from somebody who didn't get to?
Yeah, you told me to remind you to upload the Kimba singing loop. Wah 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 wah.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that right now.
What?
Finally.
I have a question. What do you think of Sean Baker's films?
I enjoy them. I've never he's a director that I'm keeping up with. When he releases something else, I'll be watching it.
He's someone I really admire. Even though
I like the genre of like just exploring American trashiness.
Yeah.
Of like different states.
I love my country, but I sure do hate its people sometimes.
I didn't like Tangerine very much, but I thought the Florida Project was much better on a second watch.
Florida's definitely.
I love that movie. Florida Project is awesome.
Yeah, I've wanted to see
I've
the
never
Florida
seen
Project for a while now. It's on Netflix now, so maybe I'll watch it.
Wait,
I recommend it. It's great.
Is that the movie that was shot on the 5E or whatever it was?
No, I think that was his previous film.
No, Tangerine.
Tangerine was shot on like an iPhone 4 or something.
Yeah.
Any other final questions, comments?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah, I want to ask, did any of you see the show, Netflix show Unorthodox?
Unorthodox. No, I think it's on my watch list though. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Any of you?
Heard about it. Seems interesting.
Anybody else has seen it or no?
No.
I have not.
I've heard of it.
What is it about?
It's like a Jewish girl who escapes from a community of super religious, ultra Orthodox Jews and goes to Germany. He's It's good, but it's good the first 3 episodes for me, but it has a bad ending. I don't want to reveal it. It's just my opinion.
Oh, okay.
I've seen the trailers. I remember now. Seems interesting.
I'll have to give that a look.
It makes you think, but I think it's a bad ending. Not bad, but it's I don't like it. I think.
Gosh, I remember there was something I wanted to bring up, but I just don't remember. It was like, this is gonna sound weird, but every time like I find out something, it's like, oh gosh, I should bring this up.
Write a note. Put it. There's like notepad applications in your phone. Write it down when you think about it, and then pull it up when you want to remember.
I actually still have a sticky note from when I was about to do my first hangout with you guys, and I was just gonna be like things to talk about, and I sat at looking at that sticky note, and I just said fuck it, and I just wrote fucking wing it, and so it's like I'm not gonna put on a performance. I'm just gonna be myself. So
yeah.
I have a note tab called
Goofy Autistic Self. So,
any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
What's your favorite just straight fantasy movie?
Fantasy.
Answer carefully.
That's like a.
I'd say mine is Pan's Labyrinth. I love that movie to death.
That's up there. Pan's Labyrinth or Lord of the Rings, maybe. Those are both.
The Lord of the Rings
way
is
up there.
Too easy.
I mean, yeah, Lord of the Rings is a no-brainer.
Hellboy 2019.
Gosh, you know what? I remember Dragonheart vaguely in the back of my memory.
It's bad.
Is that any good? Oh,
no.
Damn.
I watched it for the first time in January when I was at Sundance, actually. It wasn't screening there, but I played it on my laptop in the hotel room, and it was really funny.
I really want to.
It was really funny, actually.
You know, I remember
Didn't the Nostalgia Critic do a review on that film? Or am I thinking of something else with Jeremy Irons in it?
I think he did Eragon.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, Eragon had Jeremy Irons.
Oh yeah, that's right. Back when
Dungeons and Dragons is what I was thinking of, but yeah, Eragon 2 is pretty funny.
Dragonheart has what's his face from Pandorum, the bad actor. Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid is in Dragonheart, yeah.
Dennis Quaid.
And Sean Connery plays the dragon. It's pretty great.
I mean, the dragon die.
Man,
I could do a Dragonheart commentary someday, probably. That'd be a good one.
What's a really good movie?
What's that movie that Sean Connery was in, the animated movie?
Oh yeah,
I don't remember what the name of it was.
Yeah, I would like to imagine quotes from him inserted into that movie, into Dungeons and Dragons. Billy or Old Billy? No, fuck.
Yeah,
I would like to imagine Sir Billy. I would like to imagine lines from Sir Billy imported into fucking Dungeons and Dragons.
Any other questions, comments from people that didn't get to have their final question?
Yeah, I think I have a question. Which film do you think is better, Oldboy or The Handmaiden?
I think I'm probably gonna say Oldboy. I love The Handmaiden a lot. I think they're both great. I think Oldboy has to be my favorite, though.
Did you give Handmaiden a 9 or a 10?
I think I gave it a 10 now, yeah.
Are there any other films from 2019 that call masterpieces?
Wait, no. What's The Handmaiden?
I have 4.
Oh, it's awesome.
I actually have 4 from 2019 that would call masterpieces.
Any film from when?
from 2019, because I actually have 4 films I would call masterpieces.
What are they?
One of them I don't want to say because I know how, because I feel like that would just be, yeah.
Say it!
Venom.
It's Joker, isn't it?
Yes, it is Joker. Okay, I think Joker. Leave me alone. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but besides that, Midsummer, Parasite, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Adam, didn't you say in the quickie that you thought The Lighthouse was a masterpiece?
Yeah, but he said any other 2019, so I'm assuming Lighthouse is what he was referencing when he said that.
Yeah.
Would
I didn't hear the
Parasite be
other
like
parts.
a contender for that at least, or no?
Sorry, what?
I say,
would Parasite be a contender for that, or
no? Sure. It's my second favorite movie of the year of 2019.
I don't think a film has to be. I don't think a film has to be a 10 out of 10 to be a masterpiece. There are 9 out of 10s I would call masterpieces. There even be 8 out of 10s personally.
Yeah, it depends on how you define it, and how I define it is not even necessarily just it's a 10 out of 10. It's
I think honestly, right now, I think I'm trusting A24 as like a publisher and a producer. So
For the most part,
Any other closing questions, comments?
Well, yeah, I found this really hilarious trailer for this, really low budget movie on YouTube. I don't think anybody here knows about it. It's called Suing the Devil. It's like this guy wants to sue the devil for all the bad things in the world for like really high amount of money. It makes no sense because like the devil should just be able to like spawn more money anyway. Here, I'll post a link to the trailer. It was like so funny. I don't know.
Like, was his weeds getting into his garden or something? Like,
I don't know. It's just really dumb.
Anybody that didn't get to ask their final thing?
Newspaper.
Yeah, sure. So I mentioned I mentioned it quickly last night in the stream, but I think I want to recommend you Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh yeah.
Which I know will get a lot of different reactions from people, but why I would recommend it, you said like you don't have any like attraction to anime really or particularly, but I don't watch any anime, and I think I just think it does psychological horror really well, and it implements some really unique things.
I was saying, I honestly think that Adam, you would get something out of it. I think it's
I don't doubt that.
Really unique and awesome.
I'll watch it at some point. It's just not like a big priority at the moment.
It puts some really cool, like unique things into the gameplay that I haven't seen anywhere else. I don't know if it is, but yeah, I'd recommend it for its psychological horror appeal. It does take a little while to get there, like 2 or 3 hours. Just a warning.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
While we're talking about like psychological horror stuff, I want to ask you guys if have any of you guys played Limbo? That game.
I love Limbo.
I couldn't get past the first level. It's so hard.
It's great. I love Limbo.
I would love.
But yeah, so it does feel like just like a dating simulator for a couple hours, but it's worth it in my opinion.
Okay. Anybody who didn't get a chance to say their final thing? Any more?
Thanks for all your hard work.
Great.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And yeah.
Yes,
thank you very much.
By the time the next Doom comes out, you will have played Eternal.
Probably. I mean, I've done like a good 6 hours or whatever on it already. Anyway, I gotta make some food and get back to editing. So, thank you all for hanging out. Thank you very much for your support.
Yes, thank you.
And catch you guys next month. Just check out the Patreon main page in a week or two, and the new date should be posted. Thank you so much. Peace out.
See you.
Bye.